All right, friends, so today I wanted to talk to you about 5 things that I do on a daily basis that simplify my life. Now, this being said, some of these might seem very intuitive, like maybe these are things you do all the time. And if that is the case, then that is awesome, and I'm so happy for you. But these were 5 things that before I became a minimalist, before I started really thinking about how I can really slow down and how I can make my life just a little bit easier, I never did these. So I wanted to start with the first one, which I feel like is something that a lot of people talk about, but I wanted to expand on it a little bit, and that is making your bed every morning. Now, you watch a lot of videos about people talking about how you should make your bed, about minimalists saying how you should make your bed, and that's in their morning routine. Well, for me, it wasn't. I hated making my bed. My mom used to make me make it every morning, and then once I became an adult, I just completely stopped doing it. Now, the only reason that I actually started making my bed again was I watched a video by a Buddhist monk, and his name, I'm gonna totally mess up, but his name is Nick Kiyomangavong. Sorry. And he is a practicing Buddhist monk, and he has some of the most amazing advice that I've ever been given. But one of them that was very simple was about making your bed and why monks do it every morning. And he talked about how it's as simple as it's the first small victory that you can have when you wake up. If you wake up immediately and make your bed, you've already accomplished one thing, and that just domino effects and keeps going. And then he also said it just is a way that monks in particular train themselves to be more disciplined, which is something that, I mean, who doesn't need to be a little more disciplined in their life? So that's my number one. I make my bed every morning before I leave, and it's something that I'm trying to train my daughter to do, but it is not as easy as it sounds. Okay, number 2 is something that I do every day, and it's vacuuming. Now, if you don't have dogs or cats or children, this might be something that you think is overkill, but for me, the reason I do it every day is because I only have one small vacuum, and it's actually just a handheld battery-powered vacuum. And why I kind of changed over from a really big vacuum to a smaller one is that it actually just is so much easier to get motivated to vacuum when the vacuum is easy and accessible, and I don't have to worry about unplugging and plugging it in and moving things around. When you simplify the activities that drive you the most crazy, like getting something that, for me, a vacuum that's smaller, that's battery powered, made it a lot easier for me to get in the habit of doing it more often. So I vacuum every day. It's not like a whole house vacuum. I'll just like spot vacuum around the house, but it's something that is so easy now because the vacuum I own is light and battery powered. I don't have to worry about where to plug it in. And so simplifying that one thing of buying a vacuum that is easier for me to manage actually made vacuuming a lot more peaceful and easy, and something that I now enjoy doing. So number 3 is cleaning your sink and keeping your countertops clear. Now, that's something I know you've probably heard before, and I've heard it from other people, but when you actually put it into practice, it makes a lot of sense. It's very similar to what Nick, the Buddhist monk, was talking about with making your bed. It's a small victory that if you clean the sink as you go, it's much easier, but if you're gonna wait till nighttime after dinner, clearing the sink automatically is a huge victory, and in the morning when you wake up and you come downstairs, you automatically feel a lot better, a lot more at ease, and it's just easy to get your routine started when it's clean. The more often that you can do these small little victories, little wins, like making your bed, vacuuming every day or almost every day, keeping your sink clean, these small victories add up. And I know I've heard this before, but I think it says, or I think the studies say that once you do something like 30 times in a row, it becomes a habit, something like that. Well, it's one of those things that the more often you do it and the more often you think you get up off the couch and you actually get those things done, the more it just becomes a routine. All right, number 4 is a minimalist stream, and that is something that I do all the time now, and that's just decluttering as I go. Something that will definitely help you become more minimalist, if that's your goal, is to declutter as you go. Now, I would recommend starting with a big declutter. Like I did big declutters of my clothes, I did big declutters of our closets and our shoes. But what you need to do once you get those big declutterers out of the way is that don't lose that steam. Every day, just do a little bit of decluttering as you go. When you're vacuuming, if you see something that you don't need anymore, if you see something in the kitchen when you're putting the dishes away that you haven't used in a while, just not letting it stay there like we like to do, but actually taking it out and having a place in your house that is designated for decluttering. Now, it could be a box, it could just be a trash bag, but having a place where you know these things go also helps. If you can get some of your family members into it, then they know where it goes, and decluttering as you go is the only real way to keep a minimalist house. Now let's move on to number 5, my last tip for keeping a simplified life, doing quick 5 to 10 minute put away sessions. I'll give myself a timer and give myself like 10 minutes to put everything away in the room and have a clean room, and after 10 minutes I can be done. Now this really helps me. Putting a timer on means that there is an ending time, and if I get tired as I'm going, I can always ask my timer how much time I have left, and then it's just kind of an inspiration. And once you finish that time, one, you will feel better about you obviously will feel better about the room because it will be a little less cluttered, but at the same time, it goes along with those small victories. It's not a long time to declutter and put things away, but it is enough time where it kind of puts off those serotonin vibes in your brain and tells you that you've been doing a good job, and hopefully that leads to a domino effect of doing more. I hope you've enjoyed this very short video about 5 ways to simplify your life, and I hope that it can help you too, because these 5 things are things I never used to do in my previous life before I cared about what my house really looked like or simplifying. And now all I can say is that once you start doing one and you get in the habit, you want to do more and you want to continue it because you see the benefits. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you again next week. Remember to hit that subscribe button and that like button so that this next video will pop up next week.